Alright, finally it's time to leave Bologna. I spent the last 11 days working on my motor. It took much longer than I would have hoped. You know, here I was thinking I'm going sailing for a few weeks, but turns out it was motor mechanic summer camp. But now everything is fixed and I'm finally heading west again. There's a great wind window and I'm planning to sail through the night to hopefully make it to, well, at least make it to Cherbourg and maybe even to the Channel Islands, to a small island called Sark. So let's see how it goes. But the wind is really amazing. Just sailing downwind. I'm flying at 7 knots right now with the current. So it's going to be a smooth sail, I hope. This will only be the second time I sail through the night with this boat, and last time was extremely relaxed. And this time I think it's going to be, well, for sure it's going to be a 24-hour speed record with this boat, because I'm flying along like crazy and it's not going to stop this wind, so this will be super fun. I'm actually sailing straight downwind right now, which is easy sailing, but it also means the boat moves left and right quite a lot. Normally you have the sail on one side stabilizing it, but like this it goes from side to side, which is not too comfortable. For now it's fine, but later on and through the night apparently the wind is going to pick up and there's going to be quite a bit of swell at some point, so I hope it will be manageable. Wow, after sailing upwind, essentially all the way from Amsterdam to Bologna, and also being stuck for 11 days working on the motor, it now feels so incredibly good to be sailing downwind so fast like this. It's really perfect conditions. I'm racing along, sometimes doing 8 knots because of the current, you know, it's really helping. And wow, this is such a gift after such a frustrating week working on that motor. Couldn't be better. This is the route I'm planning to do, by the way. It's quite long, it's more than 170 miles in total. But with this wind I'm doing really great speed. It will kind of depend on what the current will be when I'm at Cherbourg, because there the current is absolutely insane, as much as 5.5 apparently, 5.5 knots of water current. So if the current will be against me once I get there, I might have to anchor and stay in a sheltered place, and then as soon as the current is the other way again I can continue. But hopefully it'll work out and I can just go straight for Sark, for the Channel Islands here. It's a cute little island. I really recommend if you have the opportunity. This time I'm using a combination of autopilot, the tiller pilot, and wind vane for steering. I might switch to the wind vane in the night, but I'm a bit worried about an accidental jibe and I don't trust the wind vane too much, to be honest. The way it works is this tiller pilot gives a steering input to the wind vane, and then there's a rudder in the water, and depending on which way the boat should steer, it's angled such that it goes left or right. And this left or right swinging of the rudder, together with these pulleys and ropes, is transferred to the tiller to steer the boat. And it's great because the tiller pilot doesn't have a lot of strength. It's not really meant for this size boat. It works well with the motor, but not for sailing. But with this wind vane in between, it really amplifies the power and allows it to very safely steer the boat. So I'm super grateful it was on there when I bought the boat. now the furthest I've ever been from land with this boat. And tonight it will only keep going. I'm gonna be in the middle of nowhere. Should be fun. Check it out. I just got such a fright that there are dolphins under the boat. Super sick. I'm now starting to have the current against me, but I'm still going crazy fast. It's just such good wind, it's really amazing. Flying downwind. I'm just, there's a traffic lane here. Look how busy it is. So I'm now going a bit south, and then eventually I'm gonna make a turn and then not sail straight downwind anymore, but with the wind from like behind and at an angle. That should also make it a bit more comfortable, because now I'm swinging from side to side, and then eventually it will be more from one side. And look who finally shows their face. How nice. It's the first time on this trip I actually see the sun. Oh, wow. Something healthy today. Wow, this must be some of the best sailing I've ever had. Just as I say that. Yeah, this must be some of the best sailing I've ever had. I'm just flying downwind super fast. It's a bit shaky. I gotta be honest, I'm a bit worried about getting seasick during the night or in the morning. But I have some medicine in case it becomes necessary. But so far it's been alright. But yeah, the wind is going to pick up apparently. And also soon I have to turn a bit to the right. And then I will have the wind from one side, which should make it a bit more comfortable, but I might also have a bit more apparent wind overall, so it might feel a bit more intimidating with all that wind. But let's see how it goes. Right now I still have the butterfly set up, but I'm already having trouble keeping the right foresail full sometimes because the wind is slightly from the right, and soon I'm going to turn more to the right, so I'm going to bring this one over to this side and then make the mainsail a little smaller so that the other big foresail stays nice and full, and hopefully that's also enough for the stronger winds that are going to come during the night. If not, I will have to reduce the sail area even more.
I met her in the backyard block party by the bar. She kept looking at me like she knew who I was. She's buzzing all over me. She's buzzing all over me. She's buzzing all over me like she fell in love. Bang, bang, baby shot me in the heart, in the dark, with the dart of the spark when it's hit. When we met at the spot, it was hot like the song, saw the thong, it was on, now it's 8 in the morning. I move on like the Greyhound bus, I go town to town and I prey on sluts. I gotta go, so scream out your area code, I'm coming all the way live from the 310. I got a whole lot of love, but none like you. You make me wanna stay here in heaven with you. I write your name in the sand, put your hand with mine. Come on baby, shoot your gun in the sky. I met her at a backyard block party by the bar. She kept looking at me like she knew who I was. She's buzzing all over me. She's buzzing all over me. She's buzzing all over me like she fell in love.
The sun just set and it won't be long before it's going to be completely dark, and then it's going to get interesting because there's quite a bit of swell and it's going to be difficult to sleep, I think. So I'm a bit nervous about what's to come, but I should be able to survive. As you can see, I've gotten pretty fast since leaving Bologna. But also I've slowed down quite a bit because now the current is actually against me and I really feel it. But I'm gonna go on, like stay on this course a little longer and then make a right turn, and then I should pick up more speed again. And of course, I think in an hour or two the current will turn again, so it won't be long before I'll be going faster. It's about 10:30 at night now. I just spent good amount of time changing the sails, well, changing the foresail from one side of the boat to the other side, and then I noticed the mainsail was sort of making a shadow for the foresail, and I ended up taking the mainsail away completely, which I think was a really good idea because the wind got a bit stronger. It's now showing about like 15 knots most of the time, and that's apparent wind going downwind, so real wind is probably more like 20 or so, and I'm doing good speed with just the foresail. Also, I started feeling a bit wonky earlier, so I took some medicine and luckily started feeling better quite quickly, so feeling pretty good again now. And yeah, I think I might start napping soon. Not much else to do out here. It's really nice. It's a bit more stable now because the sail is on one side of the boat. It's still quite shaky, but at least not going from one side to the other side as much. And I'm really in the middle of nowhere here. There's the traffic lane to my right, so you see some boats on the horizon, and you see like a few fishing boats to my left, but also really far away. So I think it's a great place to also take some naps. It's 1 a.m. now, and it's going pretty well. I haven't really slept yet properly, but I did take continuous naps since about 11 o'clock, so for the last 2 hours. And there's just too many sounds and too much movement to really fall asleep. But it's still nice to lie in bed and to rest, so it feels nice. I've even closed the boat, as you can see, because it was raining. So yeah, it's quite cozy in here, letting the boat do its thing and just flying downwind. Doing good speed still. It's now 5:30 a.m. I'm still flying along like crazy, really doing insane speeds, but not too lucky when it comes to sleeping, unfortunately. I've basically had back-to-back naps since 11 p.m. and now it's 5:30, so 6.5 hours of back-to-back naps with only minor breaks, but still barely able to fall asleep and get proper sleep. It's just shaking so hard, but at least I'll be there fast. It's pretty fun. I can't wait for the sun to rise, to be honest. I think that will make it a lot nicer. But yeah, it feels so good to be making good speeds. It's 6:45. It's just starting to be light outside. I actually had to take down the autopilot and put the wind vane because the wind got stronger and the autopilot kept falling off. And I should have taken the wind vane much earlier. It works really well in these strong winds. Good morning. It's 10 a.m. and I actually had so many mini naps. I mean, I didn't sleep in most of them, but between 7 and 9:30 I actually slept pretty well in almost all of them. So got some sleep, not a whole lot, but some should be enough. And check out how far I've come. I've actually cracked the 100-mile mark, so super happy about that, and still doing a pretty good pace. The unfortunate thing is that I'm a bit too far behind to catch the optimal current around here. You know, it's already starting to turn now, and then it's about 6 hours of current, like really strong current, taking you around this cape. But you know, I should have been like 1 or 2 hours ahead to really make it all the way to Sark. So I'm gonna see how it goes. I might go to Cherbourg, which is here, to anchor for the night. But maybe there's still a chance to make it. Let's see. The wind vane has been doing a great job at steering the boat. And actually I have this little rope, and I can completely control the wind vane from here to steer left or right. I don't even have to leave the boat. This was super useful during the night when I was sleeping, and I didn't even want to do more than poke my head out to check what's going on around me. There's definitely a good swell. I just discovered something which unfortunately will make it impossible to go to the Channel Islands today. Just around the Cape, there's a peak current of 8 knots. 8 knots in the opposite direction at around 8 o'clock. So, and I probably couldn't even be there before 5. Even that would be very optimistic. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go to Cherbourg to anchor here, and wait for the next tide. The boat is so shaky, and also the cockpit gets wet sometimes, so I've been inside, huddled up in bed most of the time. It's quite comfy, really. The only thing is, the boat rocks from side to side so much that sometimes I almost roll out of bed, but I'm not really sleeping, so I always manage to hold on just in time. Yeah, this is what traveling should be like, right? Just being in your bed while the boat does everything. Only about 3 hours left and I will arrive in Cherbourg. And yeah, this will have been the longest and fastest trip I've ever made by myself in this boat by far. So super happy about the conditions I had. It was such good wind. Although I gotta say, I'm gonna be happy to be sheltered from the swell, especially when you sail with the wind. You know, you really swing from one side to the other, so it's been quite tiring. But still, I felt like I was holding on to a cannonball flying downwind, so it was a super sick trip. This has been my orchestra for the past few hours. I'm still about 2 hours from Cherbourg, and the port authority just contacted me to tell me there's a military exercise going on inside the port. So I hope I can even enter. Or I hope they don't shoot at me when I do. So yeah, I have to contact them again in 30 minutes, and then hopefully they can tell me more. I'm really surprised how well this wind vane steering has been doing. Until now my experiences have been a bit mixed, but I think I made the mistake of putting this thing too vertically, and then it didn't respond fast enough. But if you angle it a bit backwards like it is now, it responds really well, even right now in these slightly lighter winds, which was always the issue in the past, that unless it was blowing really hard it was not working very well. So yeah, really happy to have something reliable. I actually feel much more tired than I did last time when I sailed through the night. I think it's because it was super fast, it was quite noisy, you know, intense waves, while last time it was very calm, you know, just 6 knots of wind most of the time. But yeah, I did get some sleep, but I can really feel how fatigued I am. So it'll be a good night's sleep tonight. Check it out. I did 140 miles in exactly 24 hours. Damn, that's amazing. That's the most I've ever done in this boat, by far. By the way, I just got word that the military exercise is nothing to be concerned about, apparently. It's just a submarine exercise, and they said I could just enter. So I don't know why they made such a big deal of it. It's actually really chilly by now. I don't know if it's me or if it's actually cold, but I'm freezing. And it got really windy again. It's like around 16 knots again. So yeah, flying into the harbor soon.
Bang, bang, baby, hit me one time. 2 days on the road and you're still on my mind. You think that I would learn cause I'm young and fine, but I'm broke, so I'm trying to make a hustle out of rhyme. I gotta see the world one girl at a time, but you're hanging on my sleeve like I care that you're crying. And I do, I'm just trying to play it cool. I got a rep to protect down at the high school. Why you trying to cage me in? And when I leave we both know we will be paged in him. When I come back we gon' do it again. Promise, we gon' do it again. I met her at a backyard block party by the bar. She kept looking at me like she knew who I was. She's buzzing all over me. She's buzzing all over me. She's buzzing all over me like she fell in love. Bang, bang, I wanna give you my name, but I'm trying to put some diamonds in my Swayze chain. Babies change, they start showing them fangs. Trying to take a ride on those crazy trains. Choo choo, what the hell am I to do? I got a girl in every city from here to Peru. But when I left you, I signed my name on your left boob. Now go get the tattooed, I'll be back soon. Don't cry, I'll bust you with a text soon. I gotta go, but I'll be back next June or July. Sparks in the sky. She said, boy, you crazy. Nah, I'm Swayze. I met her at a backyard block party by the bar. She kept looking at me like she knew who I was. She's buzzing all over me. She's buzzing all over me. She's buzzing all over me like she fell in love. And I don't know what she was on. Whatever it was, I want some. She's buzzing all over me. She's buzzing all over me. She's buzzing all over me like she fell in love.
Only about 1 hour left of the craziest sailing trip I've done by myself. This has been an epic journey. Wow. Never made so many miles in such a short time. Amazing. There are 2 lines of defense in this harbor, but unfortunately the openings are pointing exactly where the waves are coming from, and I was planning to anchor in here. So If it turns out to be too shaky, I might just have to go to the marina, unfortunately. Let's see how it is. I would really prefer anchoring. I'm actually sailing into the port with the wind vane. I'm not sure they appreciate that, but there's no one around. Only submarines apparently. It's really a huge port. It goes as far as the eye can see. Looks like the anchorage is not sheltered at all, and there's not a single boat anchored, so I guess I'm going into the marina. That's unfortunate. Alright, I made it safely into Cherbourg Marina. This was definitely by far the longest trip I've ever done, and also probably the fastest trip. I've done 151 nautical miles and an average speed of 5.7 knots. So I went from Bologna to Cherbourg in 26 hours, which is crazy. That's definitely the fastest I've ever gone in this boat. Super nice, super happy. It was quite intense, especially during the night, but a really cool experience. It's a pity the anchor spot was not suitable right now. It was quite choppy, and also actually the motor was a bit hot coming in, so instead of being at a constant 70, it was around 90 again. So I'm a bit concerned. I'm hoping that just through the movement some air bubbles in the cooling system came out, and that it's just a matter of getting the water in there, but I hope it's not a bigger problem. Anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope to see you guys again.